Today we are flying to Singapore. The 2-day tour from Phuket to Singapore starts at the airport where you are picked up from your hotel. We check in, board the plane, and arrive in Singapore in less than 2 hours. Tickets are not included in the price of this excursion, so you can of course buy them yourself, thus choosing a convenient time for you to depart from Phuket, but it is still desirable to focus on the earliest flight to be early in Singapore. The same applies to the return flight. It is better to choose the latest flight from Singapore to Phuket. We recommend booking your tickets on the Jetstar airline website. We'll leave the link below the video. It has the most convenient flights and reasonable prices. Singapore Airport is considered one of the most beautiful in the world. Of course, we couldn't go around it all, but we were impressed by what we saw. For example, kinetic rain. These are such shiny droplets suspended on thin strings, which create quite a beautiful effect of water movement. But we have to move on. We pass all the registrations. It is not difficult. The main thing is to follow the general flow of tourists. That's it. We are in Singapore. We have passed everything, which is great. Now we meet the guide. At the exit from the arrival area, we are met by a Russian guide. If you booked a guided tour, of course, and if not, just a representative of the meeting country. The sightseeing tour of Singapore begins. The sightseeing tour takes place by minibus or by car, depending on the number of people. We will visit historical places and all the most famous sites of the city, and learn the history of this island city-state. We had a few stops along the way. We saw the famous Raffles Hotel, built back in the late 19th century. Another attraction of Singapore is the Fountain of Wealth. Traditionally, you have to walk around it, touching the water with your hand. And they say after that money will flow into your hands. I'm unheard of rich, I'm sure of it. After this, definitely. What cool skyscrapers, yeah, behind me. We're moving on into the heart of colonial Singapore. The building of the City Hall, the Supreme Court, the elite cricket club, the very first bridge over the Singapore River, on the banks of which the founding father of Singapore, Sir Thomas Raffles, first landed. The large metal balls from which the sounds of both the subway and the stadium and just the street can be heard were not unimpressive. The man is 40 years old. Well, the famous Fullerton Hotel is a must-see, which we actually did. Just so you understand, this is just an ordinary urban underpass. Singapore is a real futuristic metropolis of the future. Its business district is simply amazing. Among all this fantastic landscape stands out the famous Marina Bay Sand Hotel with a huge terrace on which there is no less huge swimming pool. It is a must-see. In general, the name Singapore is legendarily derived from a mythical creature that lived in this area in ancient times. They say that the Prince of Sumatra once met a lion here, but did not kill it, but considered it a good sign. The town has been called that ever since, Lion City, Singapore. Another must-see place is Chinatown. There's a lot of room for photographers because of the incredible beauty and a huge number of small decorative ornaments and details, as well as for ordinary tourists. Majestic temples, small restaurants, souvenir shops. Believe me, you can spend a whole day here. By the way, this is where the restaurant of the cheapest food in the world, which received the Michelin star, is located. It was time for us to check into our hotel. The standard cost of a trip to Singapore includes a 3-star hotel, which is located in the center of Singapore, not far from the main attractions. We, on the other hand, decided to pay extra and stay at the 5-star Marina Bay Sands Hotel. So today we can't show you the hotel from the standard program, but we will show you what it is like to live in the most famous hotel in Singapore. And so on through tonight. All tonight and all tomorrow, you're on your own. Choose where to go, and believe me, there are a lot of options. Be sure to watch the show Fontana in the bay near the Hotel Marina Bay Sands. This is a very beautiful sight. The show starts strictly on time. The first at 8 in the evening, the second at 9:30, and the last at 23:00. There is also another light show nearby, the Tree Show. The first starts at 19:45 and the second at 20:45. Our first day has come to an end, and I would like to give a couple of tips. Remember that time is limited. 2 days for sightseeing is on the one hand quite short for Singapore, but at the same time it can be properly planned. There are plenty of interesting places to go and ways to spend your time. During the sightseeing tour, the guide will tell you about all these options, and your task is to choose. If you plan to spend the whole second day on the island of Sentosa, then the first day should be filled with Singapore to the maximum, and we will see you in the next issue on the second day of our tour.